Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is May 8th, 2023. Howard, happy anniversary. I read it on your blog.
Why are you wasting your time on my blog? I'm an old man.
Sometimes it's interesting, you still have it. Like 1 out of 10 posts are worth reading. A pretty good hit
Out of
rate.
10. I should quit if it's only. My wife thinks it's like 8 out of 10 are good.
Is she reading all of them? Wow, I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I really could, if she didn't read it, I could really get into some of the hardcore Howie stuff. But
Yeah.
Rachel and Ellen read it. Well, 1 out of 10 with a difficult guy like you is not bad.
It's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good hit rate.
Yeah. All right, so take us through. You're in Europe, living
Yeah.
the Howard life. You're living the Howard life.
Well, minus the bikes, but yeah, pretty much a lot of moving every day. So yeah, the market continues to be super resilient. Every time we have a tiny pullback, like to the S&P 50-day moving average or the QQQ 20-day moving average, the deep buyers seems to be coming up, and which is pretty impressive considering the macro backdrop, considering that we have a new bank failing almost every week, considering that the Fed has raised interest rates 14 times, 10 times
14.
in the
Okay.
10 times in the past 14 months, from 0 to 5.25.
I
Uh,
think it's a record, right?
yeah, I mean, this is the fastest increase in rates and one of the major reasons banks are blowing up.
Yeah.
And despite all of this, I mean, the QQQ seems, ready to break out. The S&P is holding uh, impressively well, and I think so far earnings season has been a big positive surprise. Typically, about 70% of companies surprise anyway, because analysts, I don't know, what's their job? Is it really to make the correct estimates, or is it really to make the company's job easier of beating estimates? Because so far this quarter, every single big tech companies, mega cap tech companies, has completely destroyed estimates, which is funny because, like, if you open something like Apple, you're seeing that we have 2 quarters of negative sales growth, uh, 2 quarters of like negative or 0% earnings growth. And this is happening in an environment when you have a 5% plus inflation. And
Yeah.
then, right of that, the analysts have decreased the estimate so much that it's so easy for those companies to beat them, and therefore the market and the algos to react
Well,
positive.
let's go out to but let's look at, okay, so that's the news. I agree with you, but I think it is important to talk about Apple because so they'll pull up the monthly. So it's probably my biggest position still. And then let's go to the weekly then.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that you bought them in 2008 during the crisis, and then you forgot about them. And then a few years later, your broker called you to tell you that you made, 500% in Apple and Amazon, and if you want to sell them. I remember
The
that,
so
yeah.
so let's look at Apple, for example. So I'm at the mall yesterday with Ellen. It was at Chipotle's, and there was like 20 teens in front of me. Every single one paid with Apple Pay. So if you think about, so they own your ears. If you go anywhere in maybe not Europe, but New York, in the United States, they've got your ears, they've got your fingers, right? They've got your attention. They're coming for your eyes. They're going to get into with AI and with glasses. So they're going to integrate all this stuff. And they have your wallet, right? They got $1 billion in the first week in their bank, and kids already trust them. We're talking about 15-year-old kids. So it's, the amount of them, and you and I probably aren't using Apple Pay as often as these kids are, but that's their wallet, right? Their parents give them a debit card, or they get their first debit card, and it's attached to their phone because their parents don't want them to lose their wallet. So girls, their phone is their wallet. And for guys, their phone is their wallet. So they've disrupted another part of the of the human kind of the key places that a human interacts, right? And so like you said, the numbers aren't great. So what is it? It's not so much the news, it's a reaction to the news. So I linked to an article today, that I think the analysts are really, when I talk about wallet, right, you've got a whole nother group of people using the product every day with their wallets. So it's more about active installed kind of user base. And so obviously the narrative has changed, right? At 30 times earnings, maybe the company is cheap. So again, it's not so much the actual fundamentals, it's the reaction to the fundamentals, and it's just super strong. Microsoft, even though they're executing perfectly, they didn't get their Activision deal done. Apple doesn't have to worry about that gaming sector. And Apple already is in the chip business, and Microsoft had to go cut a partnership with AMD, which is good for AMD. So the enemy, my enemy is my friend. Apple's still in the best position of all the conglomerates because of the way they own the Apple ecosystem. And then obviously their secondary sales of Apple iPhones is a huge boon as well. People, iPhone is a signal of, like LVMH is in fashion, that you're a spender and that you're a somebody. So Apple is the story. Is there any other major stories? Obviously, rates continue to be a story, Ivan.
I mean, AI is the biggest story, I think, for this
Well,
year.
AI is the biggest story in tech.
Maybe for the decade, yeah.
And are you using it at all? I'm having fun with it, but
I'm playing with it, and it's really impressive, honestly. It's really impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive the way they've coded it to not give it financial advice. There's obviously hacks to the system, but yeah, I'm overall as an entrepreneur that runs a small shop, and that we're seed investors, and we think the biggest disruption from AI comes to these giant funds, right? Companies, startups shouldn't need as much money as they needed during ZIRP. So I think the world's adopting to this 5% interest rate better than people thought. I think what we're seeing is government's inept, right? We had ZIRP for too long, then we have 5% interest. Now we have Gensler, who's being utterly loyal to the people that got him hired, which is Biden, and he's completely muffed as SEC chairman. Crypto, if we look at Bitcoin, Ivan, all the noise in the world in Ethereum, Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing fine, right? So the money will go. You're not going to stop crypto at this point. It's basically illegal in the United States, and it's still one of the best performing assets of the last, 15 years. And then Ethereum as well, which, if Tom, I was one of the analysts, Redpoint was doing an analysis, and the Ethereum chain is actually profitable. So it's like this huge database that's actually, a profitable database based on gas fees. So, there's a lot of strength, but underneath it, Ivan, is a disaster. So you've got the regional banks, a disaster. You have small cap tech is kind of a disaster. All the cloud stock names that the Twilios, the Cloudflares, the cloud stocks that led us during the last boom when COVID came down are all just a mess. So huge change in leadership that's accompanied this AI change, but it seems like Microsoft and Google are really the big winners.
Microsoft for sure. People seems to be looking at Google.
Microsoft, Apple.
Yeah, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, definitely the big winners in the AI space, and not only, but there's some thinner niches where you still see some strength, like anything related to fast food, like CMG near all-time highs, Wingstop near all-time highs, McDonald's, KFC, all of those fast food chains.
Yeah, and inflation's helping, right? Like price of food's coming down, so they're benefiting from
it. It is, but just for a second, I wanted to go back to your rant about deflation and AI, and the internet was the biggest deflation factor in the 90s and the 2000s, and now it seems AI will be another big deflation factor that will, keep costs down in many industries, especially in the service industry.
Especially tech. Tech was getting out of hand where you had to hire 10 engineers and build an app for the apps, the Google Store and the App Store. Let's be honest, like Auto GPT is going to allow developers to do the work of 10 people.
Exactly. One good developer can do the job of 10.
We're testing out like just no code stuff this week, building an app in our office with my interns. So it's like you got to dabble, but this is very deflationary. And so the Fed obviously is, the government's our biggest nightmare right now. But tech seems to be, solving this on its own. But yeah, the machines are deflationary.
It's helping us. It's helping a lot, definitely, because we've had issues with inflation. In the past 20 years, inflation has been about 65%, mostly thanks to tech. It could have been, double or triple that. So the innovation that's coming out of tech is definitely deflationary, and it's really helping the governments to continue to spend and run huge deficits.
Yeah, and then my degenerate economy trend is working. DraftKings broke out.
Huge breakout last week, new 52-week highs.
And then e-commerce, Shopify. So if you look at the two.
Exactly, Shopify, yeah.
So Shopify, it won't be disrupted by AI. And if you look at if you look at the action, AI is a boon for small retailers, small people building DTC brands, because this will help solve marketing issues, AI will help solve customer acquisition issues that come from the shutdown of Facebook. So I think that breakout, if we look at the weekly in Shopify, this is an important breaker because it's back above its weekly averages. It's you can see with the volume, this is now a buy the dip type of company, which is bullish because this is a big American.
It's Canadian forward,
right? So that's interesting. And then what else was I going to say that was interesting? Yeah, the restaurants, the home builders.
Home builders for sure. Anything related to home building, like building material stocks.
Especially with costs coming down. Yeah.
Super strong, but also.
What's MCOR Group? What's MCOR Group?
I think it was related to this. Let's see.
Provides mechanical construction.
Anything construction related, how it really has been really strong. And another industry that's been strong this year is medical devices. Anything from ICER, super strong. All of them gapped up on earnings.
IHI, where's IHI? That's one that I used to own.
So it's basing as the US
higher highs, lower low, higher highs, higher high. Yeah, higher low.
Older, and it's going to live longer.
Yeah, that's back on my radar.
Those companies are likely to benefit.
Yep. It's been about a 1 year basing, 1.5 year basing. So that looks ready. Give me on a longer term. Yep. So that held very well.
Incredible trends. Yeah. This is the ETF. Imagine the individual stocks.
Pick the right individual stocks. Yeah. You've got to be in this industry.
Yeah.
Wow. What the hell's that?
Where's
Medtronic?
Shockwave. I think they provide lasers that remove tattoos and stuff like this. A lot of
Shockwave removes tattoos.
It was, I think, one of their machines. I think they have others.
What can you pull that? Because the tattoos is the dumbest thing. That is a cool idea. Let me see Shockwave. As America gets older, these people are going to want these things removed.
Okay, maybe not just tattoos, maybe other stuff too.
What's the ticker symbol on this thing?
SWAV.
What a great name.
Yeah,
it's an incredible company. Let me see the growth there. So it's going to do
pretty significant. Look at this triple-digit earnings and sales growth for the past, 6 to 8 quarters, and then another one, LNTH.
Yeah, this thing's been on fire. LNTH.
Yes.
Lithium company. It's a medical device company, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why my internet's a bit slower here. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe the router is in the other room.
Medical imaging.
Yeah.
So obviously healthcare AI is going to help healthcare tremendously. We're investors in a few healthcare companies that are really at this seed stage, really blowing. I think AI is going to be huge for the legal industry, huge for creatives like us when
For
we figure out
healthcare,
how to apply.
yeah. Did
And
you hear that, what was his name? The guy that went to prison because of Hillary Clinton, that guy, I forgot his name, but he created that new AI site, drgupta.ai, where for $15 or $20 a month, you can actually ask, you can provide your conditions, and then AI replies, with what could be going on with you. I think I could definitely see that as the future, especially in countries or areas, even in the US, that don't have access to medical help. They'll just have, an AI and a room with some sophisticated machines that can do everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But listen, we got lucky. Everybody's looking at crypto, and it looks like it's not. It's going to be some evilness going on with AI as well, and nothing you can do about it. There's just people that have evil on the 24/7, 365. What are these now? Crypto mining companies?
These are the miners, yeah.
Yeah, so even the miners are perking up.
They're actually the best performing ETF.
Yeah, because compute's important, right?
Year to
Like
date.
our SPAC is a compute company, and we've been hustling, and it's just behind the scenes. Compute is still going to be. Remember when Chamath said Mastercard and Visa were shorts? These look very good.
I mean, they've gone sideways for the past few years, but obviously longer term.
Yeah, but digesting massive gains and massive fintech boom that was threatening, everything about them, and in the end, they're just going to be stronger. So
Yeah.
these could go on, these could go on another huge, massive runs if the economy, picks up steam. And in an AI economy where everybody's paying each other, peer to peer, you use Apple Pay, use MasterCard and Visa are still getting paid. So
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, the market seems to be holding.
Holding well. I would say a big reason is the big 7 tech companies. Obviously, there are other leaders, as we just mentioned them, but overall, a lot of stocks have been under pressure. But as we've seen in many occasions, there could be a sector rotation when the laggards can all of a sudden start to lead.
Yeah.
So definitely a market of stocks.
Enjoy your week overseas, and we'll check in next week.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
See you, bye.